This is TWiT.
TikTok. You know, honestly, even though my son, and I always have to make this disclaimer, made his bones on TikTok, became a TikTok star, you know, has a cookbook now, has a restaurant he's opening on Bleecker Street. Got to get over there in next to John's Pizza in Manhattan. But it all started on TikTok for him. Like a lot of people, TikTok got people started. Then in 2017, Trump said, it's a Chinese tool. We're getting rid of it. The Biden administration and Congress passed a ban.
A law
Against TikTok, said sell it by January 19th, the day before Inauguration Day, or we will shut you down. Apple and Google went along with it. They took it out of the store. And then Pam Bondi, the attorney general, wrote him a note saying, yeah, don't worry about it. President Trump extended it by 75 days. He's looking for some sort of deal. It looks like Larry Ellison, according to the New York Times, has the inside track with Oracle. The ban ran out Saturday. The 75 days pause ran out on Saturday. Trump announced a second 75. What happened? Did TikTok stop being an enemy of the people? Or did Jeff Yask make a call to President Trump?
I think Trump realized that TikTok was good for his reelection chances, so he 180'd on that. Much like he 180'd on crypto. I mean, this has been his MO.
He 180s all the time.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things he does particularly well is find a trend, insert himself into it, and bring those people into the tent, something the Democrats should think about.
No, he's kind of a genius at that. I will give him credit for that. He
has a couple of things he's savant like. And in this case, Leo, he realized, to Alex's point, there's a lot of young people who love this. And so, and there's a lot of Gen Xers and in between who love podcasts. There's a lot of people who love crypto. I'm just going to grab each of those constituents one by one and figure out what is it that they want. Okay, they want to get rid of Gary Gensler. They want to trade meme coins. Great, I'm in. Oh, they want to have TikTok and they want to figure out how to do it. Great, I'm in. And what he's going to do with TikTok, I have some inside information here. It's not a public company, so I can say that, is, it's going to get sold. They're negotiating it.
China has to agree to that. Is that not right?
Well, they have to agree to a sale, of course, because they're on the board of the company. If you have a Chinese company, all the data and the control of the company, and the fact the company itself belongs to the Chinese government. There's just
because of Project Texas, American TikTok data has been stored on Oracle servers in Texas for some time now, right?
Allegedly,
yeah.
Yeah, we don't know what access. Yeah.
So there's some of that occurring. What's going to happen is it will either get shut down because of the tariff issues. So these two things are being dovetailed. China's not happy about the tariffs, obviously. They will use TikTok as a bit of a cudgel, right?
Trump says, I'm considering, if China lets us buy TikTok, then I'm considering lowering tariffs. That is the silliest thing I have ever, the most trivial possible reason to lower tariffs.
Absolutely. So this is where, like, trying to understand the logic of all this beyond, Trump likes to be the main character. Trump wants to negotiate a deal. That's his identity. That's what he wants to do. So this is all going to be a grand reconciliation with China. Taiwan, TikTok, tariffs, the three Ts.
That would be interesting. If he could strong-arm China into making some concessions on Taiwan, you think that's what's going to happen?
I think we're going to go back to... We'll go back to... and I'll let you go after this, Alex.
You can't sell out Taiwan, Alex. We're so dependent on China.
It's going to be back to the one China policy, which was China.
It was kind of don't say, don't tell.
Basically, exactly what it was. Just like you could be gay in the military, just don't hit on your supervisor, superior. Just keep it low key, everybody. It's fine. And so that's what's going to happen here. I think they'll work out the small tariff issues over the coming weeks. Stock market comes back, and then they will work on the grand reconciliation. But it has to be spun out because it is too much of a dependency in terms of spying on Americans, which they've been caught doing. It's too much of a dependency. And it's a law now. And Alex, you were looking into this last week for us. I mean, it's a law. So Trump doesn't get to break the law as we
see.
He can bend
wait
it.
a minute.
He can bend it, but at some
Trump
point, people
seems to
will
have
stand
make
up
a
to him.
habit of breaking the law, but because nobody can enforce the law and Congress won't enforce it and the courts are being ignored, I mean,
yes,
he doesn't care about the law.
I think John Gruber from Daring Fireball actually had the best bit of text about this. I can't improve on it, so I'm just going to read Gruber's point. He says there is no mechanism in law for the president to issue any such extension. What he's saying is what he said the last time. He's instructing AG Pam Bondi not to enforce the law, and pinky swearing that U.S. companies that are breaking the law to keep TikTok available won't be held responsible for it. It's a complete abdication of the law. You cannot just not do things unless it turns out you can. Which is blowing my mind. If I speed, I get a ticket.
I know.
If Trump breaks literally the law that he was previously in favor of, apparently we just go,
doesn't matter.
What can we do?
Court can order him to do things, doesn't matter. Unless they're willing to send military force in, doesn't matter.
Weirdly sad.
Here's the bigger question. Is really TikTok more of a threat, than Facebook and X.com? Chinese propaganda and Russian propaganda all over both sites. This week, Facebook abandoned is implemented its new X.com style community notes in favor of moderation. And if Chinese government wants information about American citizens, they can buy it on the open freaking market because we have no privacy laws in this country. Right? Data brokers will sell my social security number to Ping the minute he asks.
The whataboutism argument can be made convincingly. And so
but it's sticking your finger in the dike when the whole thing is falling apart.
It's totally valid, except here in the United States, if Zuckerberg or somebody were to do abusive things, or certainly in the EU, if you were to abuse your data power, there are ramifications. We can argue if they're speeding tickets and the fines aren't too much.
Yes, not here.
And so in the West, broadly, we have control over these companies. We can tighten screws. We can vote for people who want to tighten the screws. The problem with a Chinese company is they can spy on Americans, that they can spy on the kids who live with their parents, who are in our government, or whose parents are in the Secret Service, the CIA, whatever it is. And so there is a distinct material difference between a Chinese company having access to 100 million phones and Zuckerberg. Right. So,
by the way, Instagram is the beneficiary of this, right? Obviously.
I think Amazon's going to win it. I think I can.
Amazon.
I'm
you think? Wait a minute. Hold on. Is this your inside scoop?
Yes.
So everybody thought Larry Ellison and Oracle had the inside track. Amazon put in a last-minute bid. You think Bezos is going to get it?
I'll tell you my game theory here.
Jassy.
Yeah. Here. Well, no.
No. Wait a minute. Jassy is the CEO. Who owns Amazon?
Actually, who owns Amazon? We do via our index funds. Just to be clear.
Yeah. So here's why Amazon wins it. This is, I think, the likely 80% scenario. Bezos, as you saw, his fiance and Bezos were at the inauguration. They're getting married. Congratulations on the nuptials.
They're going to have Princess Di style wedding. Yeah,
fantastic, great. He deserves it. He's done such a great job with Amazon. We all benefit from it.
Is he kind of dialed out from Amazon now? Does he not really have anything to do with it?
I think he's enjoying his life and he's got other pursuits. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see him come back like a Steve Jobs type thing at some point when he has had a great time being Jeff Bezos. Right. But here's why I think he wins. Trump likes to have deep relationships with successful people, and he likes to build consensus with them. He's got that with so many people around him, from Jeff Yass, who's the major investor in TikTok, et cetera. And Bezos owns the Washington Post. Bezos has a house, that he bought.
He's been kissing up to Trump. There's no question about that.
He's been making some donations and getting involved in politics. And AWS had a very big contract with the government that got canceled, if you remember. So it would be great for their relationship. It would also make the most sense because it doesn't give Zuckerberg a run of the table. There's really only one independent, viable social network outside of the Meta collection, which is Twitter X and TikTok. And if TikTok went to Amazon, that would balance the table a bit. Amazon,
that's true.
Yeah.
What about Twitch and Discord? Do those count? I'm not trying to nitpick here. I'm actually legitimately.
Amazon owns
we think
Twitch.
that
Discord is still
small.
independent.
Yeah, they're too small. We're talking about tens of millions of people, and
They don't.
TikTok,
The Chinese government has already said it will not sell the algorithm. You think that's?
they don't need it.
They don't need it.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to look,
All you
at
really
your-
want is the users.
I think 2 years ago, yeah, you need the algorithm. If you look at the progress that X, Instagram, and basically everybody's making on the algorithm, I think they're within 90% of spitting distance of whatever TikTok's doing with the algorithm. I mean, Instagram's been basically ruined by it. I mean, if I open Instagram, it's all bulldogs now and barbecue.
It's horrible.
Yeah, and I'm like, I came here to see my friends and curate this list, and you've now, I gotta go deep into the settings because Zuckerberg loves to bury stuff deep in the settings, but I gotta find somewhere in the settings to go back to what I want, which is my friends. It's giving me I'm getting White Lotus actors. I mean, it's brutal. I will say Amazon is the lead candidate here, and if they do get it, that'd be pretty great because.
What about Larry? Is Ellison? I mean, he's not going to be happy if he doesn't get it.
I don't think it makes sense for. I mean, if he gets it, great. Then you have an independent company, and I don't know if
That really
Oracle will be
balances
the buyer.
things, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think he would make it an independent spin out. That's the other possibility, is to just take the thing public. The really interesting thing that's going to happen is we'll have a sovereign wealth fund with at least 25 to 50% of these shares. That's what Trump is really negotiating. Trump loves the idea
wants
of the
a
U.S.
stake.
government cashing up. He loves the idea of us owning, like, let's say this becomes $1 trillion company, which it could, and the U.S. government owns $250 billion, and that's funny money. The government, that would be pretty great for his legacy. I don't know how it's legal. I've never heard of a government.
The law says you can't do a deal that doesn't involve the transfer of the algorithm.
It's just a license. We have a new license. It's called TikTok license. Who wants an algorithmic
choke
license?
on my keyboard.
It's a new license to print money. It's called a social media license.
Why do we have Congress? Like what?
No, we don't have Congress.
insane?
That was your mistake.
It'll be back. Here's what you have to do: put up reasonable candidates and win an election, and that's what's going to happen. I think.
Don't you think Trump thinks that the clock is ticking? He has till 2026 to get this done.
He knows it.
He knows that.
Right? Yeah, he knows. I think
especially if you tank the
lose.
economy, because that's all. People vote their wallets. That's
it's the economy stupid, right?
Yeah,
James Carville.
That's your boy, James Carville. Hey, thank you for watching this little snippet from our big show, the News Roundtable, This Week in Tech. I'm Leo Laporte. Each week we cover the week's tech news, in-depth analysis, but it's also fun and engaging. You'll find it at twit.tv along with all of our shows. And if you want more, just hit the subscribe button, and we'll be sure to bring you a lot more great content. Thanks for listening.